Welcome back to Legislation Daily. In the UK, the recall to prison process is a legal mechanism used to return individuals on licence or parole to prison if they breach the terms of their release. This applies mainly to offenders who have served part of their sentence in custody and are then released on licence for the remainder. The framework for recall is laid out in several pieces of legislation, primarily the Criminal Justice Act 2003, Offender Rehabilitation Act 2014, and the Legal Aid, Sentencing and Punishment of Offenders Act 2012. Offenders are eligible for recall to prison if they are released on licence after serving a custodial sentence. A licence is an agreement setting out certain conditions offenders must comply with while in the community, such as staying in contact with their probation officer, living at a specified address, and avoiding criminal behaviour. If the offender breaches these conditions, poses a risk to public safety, or engages in new criminal activity, they can be recalled. There are two primary types of recall. Fixed-term recall. This is typically for lower risk offenders who are recalled for a specific period, usually 28 days. After this period, they are released automatically. Standard recall. This applies to higher risk offenders or those whose breach is serious. In this case, the offender may remain in prison until their sentence end date or until a parole board decides they can be released again. The recall process begins when the supervising probation officer assesses the situation and determines that the offender is in breach of their license. They will then submit a recall request to the Public Protection Casework Section, PPCS, of the Ministry of Justice, which reviews and authorises the recall. Once recalled, the offender can contest the decision through the parole board, which may order their release if the recall is deemed unnecessary or unjust. Appeals and reviews. Offenders can challenge the recall by submitting representations to the PPCS. For standard recalls, the parole board will review the case and decide if the offender can be safely released. The offender is entitled to legal representation during this process. The recall to prison system balances public protection with fairness, ensuring offenders who breach their license conditions are returned to custody when necessary, but also allowing for review and appeal to ensure decisions are proportionate. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.